But the process of this framework that we're talking about, this P4C, should kind of look after that, because you're kind of encouraging more abstract thinking, trying to just step away all the time from just it's my opinion or it's my life. You're trying to get them to reason a bit more, you know, deductive reasoning and analytic reasoning. And so if they have this process where they as a group have decided this is the best question we'll talk about, and you throw it open to the group like this, and they get used to kind of giving reasons and evidence and backup for their opinions, it kind of gets rid of that that a student might feel they're under attack, you know, and that's why I personally use this P4C pedagogy in philosophy, but it can be applied to anything. And in the beginning, it kind of takes a while to set it up. In the beginning, it's quite everyone feels like it's just taking turns to give their opinions or their stories, and it's really by practicing a kind of a routine of, well, why do you think that? What evidence do you have for that? Questioning each other, but not attacking somebody or trying to find out about their own personal reasoning. So these philosophical questions are quite abstract, you know, they're quite difficult to you know, unpack, as they say, you know, but students are well able for it. You have to have faith in their ability to be able to deal with that, you know, but it is very important that you are steering it. But if you do this regularly, not just a once off, if it's a once off, it's going to be difficult. But if you do this regularly, they become more respectful to one another, and they relax more, and they feel more confident in giving their views. That's very important, I think.
Do you think it's that wrong to give your own opinion as long as you've given it unbiased, balance of the facts? Is it that terrible? You think it would be?
I've been practicing this pedagogy quite, you know, routinely for 4 or 5 years, and taking myself out of it is very powerful.
It works better.
It's much better not to give your opinions. They want to know.
Yeah.
But you're a facilitator. You know?
Okay.
It's not about you or about your beliefs, or you're trying to get them to grow in the way they think, you know, and we're actually in a very powerful position, and we do message them silently.
Okay.
So you might think you're not, but you are. And really we're trying to nurture, what's a good scientist? What's a good science learner? What do you want them to be? I don't know. What do you want your students to be like as learners?
I think we want to do things more interesting, and it's sort of specifically on even the junior cycle spec now. We want them to be able, this is why P4C is really useful, I've found with my TY, spot bias. That's something that's very important. What kind of assumptions are there underneath a question or within an opinion, to be able to spot those, and then to be able to question, you know, whoever is putting forward an opinion or a view or whatever in a way that is not antagonistic, but does throw back you know, something that indicates to them, I think there might be bias in what you're saying, or I think that there's certain assumptions in what you're saying, and to try and establish a dialogue that's constructive rather than just a, you know, at each other sort of thing, which is the default position for teenagers, you know. So it's interesting where I have students coming in who've been in Susan's classroom for the last few years, and they stick out so clearly in the group. They're much more eloquent, they're much more able to establish dialogue. Thanks a million. And they are really respectful of everyone's opinion and you know, willing to listen to everyone, no matter how much they might not agree with that person, you know.
It's a pedagogy, so it's a way to get students to think outside the box. But that's what you're doing. So you're not there to teach. You're there to facilitate. So you really can't have an opinion in that case. Yeah. You can be devil's advocate and you can probe and you can ask questions, but you have to keep your opinion to yourself. They have to come to an agreed opinion through that pedagogical skill, I
Yeah,
think. And
yeah,
that's the idea of it.
absolutely, yeah, that's very important. And the first few weeks, the students go, oh, circle time, like in primary school. Oh, it's like, oh, I had this time when, and they're all telling their opinions and their anecdotes. But that's what you're trying to get rid of. You're trying to get them into good thinking habits. So unless it's relevant, I get them to categorize their questions and their anecdotes, you know. So unless it's building on what she said and it hooks onto our anchor question, it's not relevant. You can write it on a post-it and put it up there, but you know.
Some of the questions have got misunderstandings built into them. So, and miscomprehension is, and as a science teachers, this is where we definitely should and can intervene to correct. So it's an assumption, there's an assumption built into the question, and it's based on a complete misunderstanding of the science, right? So we can intervene there. I think that we should intervene there, and it's not a question of just let it fly and let them go off on their, you know, with their misunderstanding. And so I think that's, for me, that's a time when it was important. It's also a really good opportunity then to wheel in a bit of science to straighten out some, or to add in. Sometimes it's not about a misunderstanding, but it's to further their understanding, which will then change their view, maybe, of a question or an opinion that's going around the room.